The war on RE115 escalated in ways the galaxy had never seen. The humans not only survived the harsh conditions, but they thrived, their adaptability pushing the boundaries of what the galactic races believed was possible. While other species saw RE115 as a cursive world of endless suffering, humanity saw a crucible challenge to be conquered. But the Rex had not been idle. Deep within their towering hive ships, the insectoid overlords devised plans to strike. They had studied the humans, witnessed their victories against the native fauna, and came to a grim conclusion. Brute force would not work against these Deathworlders. If they wanted to reclaim RE115, they would need to strike with precision. In one of the human fortresses, Space Delta Commander had gathered with her senior officers around a holographic map. RE115's volatile surface and erratic weather patterns constantly shifted, where engineers had managed to map out a significant portion of the planet's terrain. The problem was, the Rex were far from idle. "They're planning something," Hale said, her brow furrowed as she examined the Rex movements on the map. "Their scouts have been more frequent, but they're staying just out of range. They're probing us, testing our defenses." Lieutenant Grant, always steady and cautious, nodded. "They've stopped throwing wave after wave of soldiers at us. They're learning." "That's what worries me," Hale muttered. "They aren't going to sit back forever." "Maybe they're scared," said Major Kira, a demolitions expert. "We've pushed back every attack they've thrown at us." "Don't underestimate them," Hale warned. "The Rex are ruthless, but they're also smart. They know they can't win in a direct assault, so they're changing tactics." "What's our move?" Grant asked. Hale leaned over the table, her eyes fixed on a cluster of Rex hive bases to the north. "We can't sit and wait for them to come to us. We're taking the fight to them." The plan was audacious, a preemptive strike deep into Rex territory. If the humans could destroy their forward hives, they would cripple the Rex forces on RE115. It was risky, but Hale knew it was the only way to maintain the upper hand. 2 days later, the mission was a go. A convoy of heavily armored vehicles, bristling with weapons, rolled out from Base Delta. Overhead, fighter drones zipped through the skies, providing aerial reconnaissance. The team was a mix of infantry, engineers, and demolitions experts, all hardened veterans of RE115's brutal campaigns. Corporal Jenkins, who had survived countless battles on the planet, rode in the lead vehicle. He glanced at his squad tours, the young private who had grown into a capable soldier, and Sergeant Anders, a quiet but deadly sniper. They were ready for whatever the Rex could throw at them. The convoy rumbled across the rocky wastelands, passing through jagged canyons and fields of sharp, crystalline formations that jutted from the ground like teeth. The air was thick with the ever-present acrid smell of RE115's toxic atmosphere, and the ominous rumble of distant storms echoed in the distance. "Stay sharp, people," Jenkins said over the comms. "This is Rex territory now." As if on cue, the ground trembled. Jenkins barely had time to react before the vehicle next to his was rocked by a sudden explosion. A plume of smoke and debris shot into the air. "Ambush!" someone shouted. The Rex swarmed out from hidden tunnels in the ground. Their insectoid forms moved with terrifying speed and precision. Razor-sharp claws and organic-bladed weapons gleamed in the dim light. Their numbers seemed endless, pouring out from the earth itself. Jenkins leaped from his vehicle, rifle at the ready, form up defensive positions. The squad scrambled to take cover, using their vehicles as shields. The Rex were relentless, their hissing war cries filling the air as they charged the human lines. Jenkins fired off bursts of plasma rounds, cutting down several Rex before they got too close. Before everyone they killed, two more seemed to take its place. "We can't hold them off forever," Torres shouted as she reloaded her weapon, her eyes wide with fear. "We don't have to," Jenkins growled. "We just need to survive long enough for backup." As if on cue, the roar of engines filled the air. From the horizon, human airships streaked toward the battlefield. Their cannons lit up the sky, raining down firepower on the Rex. Explosions rocked the ground as the swarming insectoids were blown apart by precision strikes. "Hell yeah!" Torres cheered as the Rex flies foddered reinforcements. The Rex, realizing the tide had turned, began to retreat, disappearing back into their underground tunnels. The ambush had failed. Jenkins wiped the sweat from his brow, looking at the carnage around them. This was just a test, he muttered. They're probing us again, trying to see how we react. Taurus frowned. If that was just a test, what's the real attack going to look like? Jenkins didn't have an answer. He knew only one thing. The wrecks weren't done yet. Back at the human fortress, Commander Hale received a report of the ambush. She stared at the holographic map, her mind racing. The wrecks were adapting faster than she had anticipated. They're pushing harder, Hale said to Grant. We can't keep fighting them on two fronts against the planet and the wrecks. We need to change our strategy. Grant looked concerned. What are you suggesting? We need allies, Hale replied, and I know just who to contact. The galaxy was vast, filled with species that had once looked down on humans, but Hale knew that the only way to truly conquer RE115 was to forge alliance style. They would have to prove that humanity wasn't just another aggressive species. They would have to show they could work with others. But RE115 was a proving ground, and soon, the galaxy would learn that humans weren't just survivors, they were conquerors. They didn't bend to hostile worlds, they made those worlds bend to them. And RE115, in all its deadly glory, would be no exception. The planet RE115 was a Deathworld in every sense of the word, located on the edge of the known galaxy. Its gravity was stronger than most species could withstand. Its atmosphere, thick with corrosive chemicals, choked even the most resilient of creatures. Violent electrical storms swept across its surface, and the fauna was savage, nothing short of nightmares. But, despite all this, RE115 was rich in resources, coveted by various intergalactic factions, but for millennia, it remained untouchable. That is, until the humans arrived. Humans, the most resilient of the galactic races, emerged from Earth, another death world. Their world was one of constant wars, disasters, and predatory environments, yet they thrived. It was only a matter of time before they found their way to RE115. When humanity made its claim, the rest of the galaxy watched in morbid fascination. Surely, even the humans would perish here. The Arcanans, a race of highly intelligent buffalo beings, had long believed RE115 was impossible to conquer. The Vrax, an insectoid species with a vast empire, had once tried colonizing the planet but lost an entire fleet. The consensus among the Galactic Council was unanimous: RE115 was untamable. But the humans were not deterred. They landed on RE115 in massive armored ships, equipped with the best technology Earth had to offer. They brought engineers, soldiers, and scientists so prepared for war with both the environment and any enemy that dared oppose them. The first few months were brutal. RE115's storms wrecked their early bases, and strange beasts devoured some of the human scouts. Then, slowly, humanity adapted. Commander Sarah Hale stood at the observation deck of her base, looking out at the barren, storm-swept landscape. The fortress had been built into the side of a massive cliff, giving her a view of the wild world below. She could see the distant shadows of creatures prowling the wastelands, the sky crackling with energy. Her visor flickered with data, monitoring the pressure outside, temperature, and radiation levels. "Man," came a voice behind her. Hale turned to see Lieutenant Grant, one of her most reliable officers, standing at attention. "Report," she said. "The defenses are holding. We had a minor breach in the southern sector, but no casualties. The Rex scouts are probing our perimeter again, but no full assault yet." Hale gritted her teeth. The Rex weren't going to wait forever. They were biding their time, watching as the humans built their strongholds. They probably thought they could swoop in and finish the job once the planet itself had worn down the human forces. They underestimated human stubbornness. "Anything else?" she asked. Grant hesitated. "There's been more wildlife activity. Bigger predators are moving in." Of course there were. RE115 was a constantly evolving hellscape. It would only get worse the longer they stayed. "Double patrols," she ordered. "We need more intel on the new predators, and have our engineers reinforce the walls in Sector 3. "Yes, ma'am." After he left, Hale turned back to the observation window. RE115 was trying to kill them every second of every day, but that was what made the humans thrive. The other species never understood that about them. Conflict and adversity were woven into their DNA. They didn't come to RE115 expecting peace. They came to wage war on the planet itself, and they were winning. Out in the wilderness, a small squad of human soldiers trudged through the harsh terrain. Their armor was reinforced to withstand the high gravity and corrosive atmosphere, and their rifles were designed to take down anything that moved. Corporal Jenkins, a grizzled veteran, led the way, his eyes scanning the horizon. "Keep sharp," Jenkins said to his team. "We've got reports of new creatures in this area." Private Torres, the youngest of the group, glanced around nervously. "I don't like this place. Man, everything feels like it's watching us." Jenkins chuckled. "You're not wrong, kid. This planet hates us, but we hate it back. That's how we survive." As if on cue, a deep rumble shook the ground. The team frenzy, weapons at the ready. From the shadows of a nearby ridge, a massive creature emerged. It was reptilian, with razor-sharp claws and a hide thicker than steel. Its glowing yellow eyes locked onto the humans. "Contact!" Jenkins shouted, raising his rifle. "Form up, take it down." The squad opened fire, bullets pinning off the creature's armored skin. It roared in fury and charged at them, moving faster than anything that size should be able to. Jenkins dodged to the side just as the beast swiped at him, its claws tearing into the ground. "Hit the weak spots," Hale barked. "Aim for the joints." Torres fired a well-placed shot, hitting the creature in its exposed knee. It stumbled, giving the team a brief opening. Jenkins rushed forward, planting an explosive charge at its neck. He dove back as the explosion tore through the beast, sending chunks of flesh flying. The creature let out one final, deafening roar before collapsing in a heap. The ground shook as it hit the dirt. "Good work," Jenkins said, breathing heavily. "One less nightmare to deal with." Torres stared at the massive corpse. "How many more of these things are out here?" "More than I can count," Jenkins replied. "But we'll handle them. We always do." Back at the fortress, Commander Hale received a report of Jenkins' successful encounter. She allowed herself a small smile. The creatures of RE115 were deadly, but not invincible, and the rest, they were watching closely, undoubtedly taking notes on how the humans fought and adapted. "Let them watch." Hale tapped into the fortress comms, sending out a message to all human forces on the planet. "This is Commander Hale. We're not just surviving RE115, we're conquering it. Every day we're here, we grow stronger. This planet will not break us. We're human, and we don't back down. Prepare for the next phase. Victory is inevitable." The message echoed through the halls of the fortress, carried on the winds of the deadly planet. The Vrax and any other species that dared oppose humanity would soon learn the truth that every human soldier knew in their bones. On a Deathworld, humans don't just survive, they thrive. They always have, and they always will.